Hi, welcome back to another video. Today I have some plants to pot on and to transplant, plants that I grew either from cuttings or from seeds recently. So I have foxgloves and pansies that I showed you in one of my last videos how to grow them from seeds. So if you are interested in that, you can refer to that video. I also have Erigeron and Nepeta, which are plants that I bought for the first time this year for my balcony garden, and I like them a lot, so I wanted to propagate them to have more of the same plants, because I try to repeat the same plants throughout my balcony, so that when you just walk on the balcony you see the same plants here and there, so that it all looks like a little garden instead of just a collection of all kinds of plants. So I do cuttings, and some cuttings I placed directly in the soil, and some I placed in water, just as an experiment to see which ones grow roots faster and which method works better for me. I'm going to show you how I took the cuttings, in case if you want to do it yourself and you are not sure how to take cuttings from Nepeta and from Erigeron. The best time to propagate plants through cuttings is in spring and early summer, but if you do it a bit later in the season like me, and if you happen to live in a cold climate, you may need to take your young plants indoors during winter. To propagate Erigeron, pick strong, vigorous stems, ideally non-flowering ones, and make a cut just below a leaf node. Remove any flower buds from the top and leaves from the bottom of your cutting. You can place it in a glass of water and wait for the roots to develop, or you can plant them directly in a lightweight potting mix. You should start to see some roots in about 3 weeks. The same goes for Nepeta. Make a cutting just below a leaf node and remove the leaves from the bottom of your cutting. And pot it in a lightweight potting mix and water well. Okay, so I'm gonna start by potting on these perennial plants. I'm not gonna plant them directly in their final container. That's the same what I did with these. I wanted to get a little bit bigger before I plant them in terracotta pot. I think they have enough time before winter to just get a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, more resistant, to grow a little bit more roots. And the same for pansies and for foxgloves. I'm gonna place them in their separate small containers, and then in fall, if the pansies are large enough, I'm gonna use them in compositions if they bloom. Foxgloves, the same, I'm gonna pot them in their separate containers, and then sometime in November I'm gonna plant them in their final pots. Today I'm gonna put everything in multi-purpose potting mix, because they are all just small plants and cuttings and seedlings, so they need a lightweight potting mix. But once the Erigeron and Nepeta grow a little bit bigger, once they are a little bit more mature, I'm gonna plant them in a loam-based potting mix. So now I'm gonna put on my foxgloves. So there's a little bit of a funny situation happening here. As you can see, these are larger than these, because these are the seedlings that I sowed in that video that I posted. And then what happened, I left on holidays and the pot was standing in here. So this part was in part shade, so it didn't receive much sunlight, and this part was in in more of a sunny area. I mean, it received some sunlight, so this part dried out and the seeds failed to germinate, and this one, because it was more in shaded area, it still had some moisture, so the seeds germinated. So when I arrived and I saw what happened, I reseeded more. But now that I'm counting, I have probably 6 or 7 plants, so that will be largely enough for my balcony garden. So for now I'm gonna just put these ones on, and then I will see if I need any more. I will just take some of the healthiest seedlings from this grouping here. Okay, they are all potted on, and I'm super happy because I ended up with like 30 pansies, I think, which is awesome because I don't think I mentioned at the beginning, but these are really cool pansies. They are actually unavailable anywhere at the garden centers here. They have ruffled petals. Well, I was hoping to plant them all along in these railing pots for autumn. They are still very small, so probably they're gonna be too small, and they are not gonna bloom this fall yet, but I'm sure that they will bloom in spring. So if I don't end up using them now in fall, I will use them surely in spring. So yeah, I'm gonna water everything and gonna clean up this corner. And now I'm gonna leave all these plants outside. I used to keep them under grow light inside, but as you can see, there's a lot of them now, so there's no way I could fit all of this indoors. So I'm gonna just leave it here on the table, and I'm gonna start fertilizing them next week already. I'm gonna give them half strength Alga Grow fertilizer as well as Power Roots. Until October I'm gonna fertilize them, and then I'm gonna stop fertilizing because obviously we don't want to encourage new fresh growth in the winter, because then that fresh new growth will be easily damaged by frost. So yeah, thanks for joining me for this potting on and transplanting seedlings and cuttings video. Hope that you enjoyed it, and see you again in the next video. Bye!